ఇన్ కాన్వర్సేషన్ విత్ డాక్టర్ మంజుల అనగాని. మేము చిన్నప్పటి నుంచి రేడియో మా జీవితంలో ఒక అవినాభావ సంబంధం ఏర్పరచుకుంది. రేడియో అక్కయ్య, రేడియో బాబాయ్, ఆదివారం వచ్చిందంటే స్టోరీలు ఏం వింటున్నాము, ఏ సినిమా హాఫ్ అన్ అవర్ వస్తుంది, ఇవే ఆలోచనలతో ఇవే నడుస్తూ ఉండింది. టీవీ అనేది మన లైఫ్లోకి వచ్చే వరకు కూడా రేడియో చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్ రోల్ తీసుకుంది. దాని తర్వాత మాయమైన మళ్ళీ ఒక బిగ్ బ్యాంగ్తో మళ్ళీ రేడియో అనేది వెనక్కి వచ్చింది. ఈసారి ప్రెజెంటర్స్ని రేడియో జాకీస్ అని అంటుంటాం. సో ఇలాగా మన లైఫ్లోకి మళ్ళీ మనం ప్రయాణిస్తున్న ఒక చోట నుంచి ఒక చోటకి వెళ్ళిన మనకి మ్యూజిక్ ఇన్ లైఫ్ని తెచ్చి మనతో వేరే అందరితోనూ ఇంట్రడ్యూస్ చేసి, అలాగే ఏమైనా ఇంపార్టెంట్ విషయాలు వరల్డ్లో జరుగుతున్నా మనం పేపర్ చదవకపోయినా మన న్యూస్ని మనకు అందించే రేడియో జాకీస్ ఇలాంటి ఫీల్డ్లో. సో తనకంటూ ఒక ప్లేస్ని ఈ రేడియో ప్రపంచంలో స్టార్ట్ చేసుకుని అదొక గట్టిగా స్థాపించుకున్న ఫీవర్ FM RJ. A little bit of Manasa, lots of music and a little bit of Manasa. So Manasulo Mata with Dr. Manjula Anagani.
Oh, that was fantastic. Oh, that was fantastic. Now, I can't believe this because I'm so used to interviewing you all the time. I'm at the receiving end. Please give me a sweet pill.
Yeah. So, మావన్నీ ఇలాంటి కాన్వర్జేషన్సే ఉంటాయి. సో వాట్ యూ ఫీల్, హౌ యూ ఫీల్, జస్ట్ బీ యువర్ సెల్ఫ్. నాకు ఎప్పుడూ అది ఆశ్చర్యం ఏంటంటే హైదరాబాద్ అనేది నవ్ దట్ యు హ్యావ్ సెటిల్డ్ దేర్ అండ్ ఆల్మోస్ట్ యు హ్యావ్ మేడ్ ఇట్ యువర్ హోమ్. సో ఎక్కడికో వచ్చి అట్లా సెటిల్ అయిపోయి ఒక్కళ్ళే. ఇప్పుడు చాలామంది దేశాంతరం వెళ్తుంటారు ఉద్యోగరీత్యా. ఓకే, సో ఐ నో ఇట్ ఈస్ బీన్ లైక్ దాట్ ఓన్లీ ఫర్ యూ ఆల్సో. బట్ ఉమెన్ కమింగ్ అండ్ డూయింగ్ అండ్ ఒక భయం అనేది లేకుండా అండ్ యూ కుడ్ డూ ఇట్. So how could you do it? ఎలా చేయగలిగావు అసలు?
Let me start from the beginning. When I got the offer, it was a morning show offer, and that's a lot of growth. That's what every radio jockey wants, a morning show on their resume. And it's a new market. I had no friends in Hyderabad. I knew no one in Hyderabad.
And you are a Kannadiga. You're not even localite. Ante Telugu kuda raadu. It's not anything.
Baga raadu, but Telugu vastindi. But my parents were set against it. They were like, no, you're not going. I fought with them. I promised them I'll come back in 5 months. That was 4 years ago. I'm still here. But I thought I'll be here for 5 months, and I came and I fell in love with this place. Because it had, and I always thought, and I'm being very honest, I thought Bangalore was the most, like the warmest city. No, it was the warmest city, I thought. They were very nice to outsiders. But when I came to Hyderabad, I saw next level of warmth. And the way show got accepted, people knew I was not from here. Nak Telugu appudu, I didn't know Telugu at all. Assal raadu appudu. Ippudu I can manage somehow. But people were very warm. And was I scared? Not really, because you'll manage somehow. You know, that faith is there.
ఆ ఫెయిత్ నీలో ఉండొచ్చు, కానీ మీ పేరెంట్స్కి నీలో ఉండాలని రూల్ లేదు. ఎందుకంటే ఒక అబ్బాయిని బయట పంపించాలనే అంటేనే ఎక్కువ ఆలోచించే దీంట్లో ఉన్నాం మనం, అంటే సొసైటీ. అలాంటప్పుడు హౌ డిడ్ యువర్ పేరెంట్స్ యాక్చువల్లీ యాక్సెప్ట్? అంటే యువర్ ఎ యంగ్ గర్ల్, ప్రతి ఒక్కరికి డ్రీమ్స్ ఉంటాయి, ఒక అమ్మాయికి పెళ్లి చేసి పంపించేసేయాలి, మా బాధ్యత చేయాలి అని. సో హౌ డిడ్ యువర్ పేరెంట్స్ యాక్సెప్ట్ ఇట్?
In my family, it's a little ulta. My brother, they never trusted him to be alone. I always grew up on my own, and my mum used to always follow him everywhere. He was never allowed to live alone unless he started working. Right? With me, they always had that faith. This girl always, she has boundaries around her. She knows where danger is and she'll stay away from danger. That she does. So that faith was there. But of course they had problem sending me here because they wanted me to get married. My mother was obsessed, you know. But there are some battles you have to fight because you know you need to make a choice. You need to fight those battles. There will be disappointments. There will be collateral damage. My mom's heartbroken that I'm married to radio, but I have to live with that.
But you know, I always tell people, పిల్లలు డిజోన్ చేయొచ్చు పేరెంట్స్ని, కానీ పేరెంట్స్ విల్ నెవర్, వాట్ ఎవర్ యూ డూ, దే విల్ నెవర్ డిజోన్ ద కిడ్స్ అనేది. సో ఐ థింక్ దట్ హ్యాస్ గాన్ ఇన్ యువర్ వే. బట్ దెర్ ఇస్ అనదర్ థింగ్, ఐ ఆల్వేస్ థింక్, యునో, ఏ పేరెంట్గానా వీళ్ళు స్టేబుల్ జాబ్స్లో ఉంటే బాగుండు, ఇట్లా జంప్ చేసే జాబుల్లో కాకుండా ఒక ఇంజనీరింగో, ఒక ఏదో ఐ నో యువర్స్ ఇస్ అ బ్యూరోక్రాట్ ఫ్యామిలీ. సో అలాంటప్పుడు అలాంటివి తీసుకోకుండా ఈ అమ్మాయి ఎందుకు ఇట్లాగా, సో హౌ డిడ్ దిస్ యాక్చువల్లీ హ్యాపెన్? డిడ్ యూ యాక్చువల్లీ థింక్ నేను ఇలాగా ఇలాంటి టీవీ లేకపోతే రేడియో ఇలాంటి వాటిలోకి వెళ్తాను, లేకపోతే మూవీ ఫీల్డ్ అలా వెళ్తాను అనుకున్నావా, లేక హౌ డిడ్ ఇట్ హ్యాపెన్ యాక్చువల్లీ?
Oh my God, this I'll tell you. Like you said, I come from a bureaucratic family from both ends, maternal and paternal. My dad was in the army, and then he became a bureaucrat. Grandfather, uncles, aunts. So there are two people who didn't follow the footsteps. Me and my nephew, who is in the US in advertising, and me being a girl, and I was studying to be a bureaucrat in Delhi. I was sent to Delhi for 2 years, and I come back and I say, no, bus, this far and no further. I can't do this. I need to be in a creative field because I'm feeling like I'm wasted. You know, I'm never want to be a bureaucrat. Then my father said, marry one. Said, you don't want to be one? Then you marry one. I'm equally happy. I said, I don't want to be in that world. You know, I want to really be busy all day long. I want to be busy, and for the first...
క్రియేటివ్ సైడ్ ఎలా తెలిసింది అసలు? అంటే హౌ డిడ్ యూ థింక్ యు ఆర్ క్రియేటివ్ అని?
I'm always doing something. I'm doing up people's houses, I'm painting, I'm writing something, I'm always creating something. And I started doing interior designing. You know, and when that happened, and radio was just a happy accident. I never thought radio would ever come my way. I never had any such ambition. It was such a nice story. I have a friend, and back then he had just started making small documentary movies, and today he's an international documentary filmmaker. He did not have enough budget to hire a voiceover artist. Okay. So he said, can you please, I used to do poetry recitals, can you please do voiceover? I said, I don't know how. He said, go to a workshop, learn and come. I had to pay for that workshop, by the way.
And to do free.
And to do free.
That's what is friendship, Mansa.
That's what, you know, friends are like, and that's what friends are for. I said, okay. And then I took the workshop, and my coach was like, you are a bad voiceover artist. Please don't do this, but you're born to be an RJ. He got me my application forms, and my family went berserk. They thought I was becoming a hippie one morning. I woke up, I was like, no, you know, it's just a part-time, 2 days job a week. Let me give it a try. And I did, and I think I fell in love with radio so hard that it consumed my life. I fell in love with it.
So you think that people should follow their instincts and do things? That's the thing you want to tell the youngsters?
It's very important to understand what you're good at. You know, it will come very naturally to you. It will not seem like work. And now whatever other work that I do along with radio, it doesn't feel like work. Radio doesn't feel like work. Even if we put in 15 hours, because we love what we do. And the minute you realize you're good at something, you're doing it right, and that feeling is intoxicating. Not only are you realizing it yourself, others are also telling you you're good at it, and you're making money.
సో ఐ థింక్ బేసిక్గా ఇక్కడ ఏంటి అంటే మనం చేసే పని ఇష్టం ఉండి చేసే పని, మాట్లాడేది ఎలాగో ఇంట్లో కూర్చొని మాట్లాడుతూనే ఉంటాం. సో అక్కడికి మాట్లాడి ఉల్టా వాళ్ళు డబ్బులు ఇస్తున్నారు మనకి, ప్లస్ అందరు కూడా వా అంటున్నారు, అంతే కదా? మనకు కనిపించాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు, కానీ వినిపించాల్సిన అవసరం ఉంది.
అంతే, మాట్లాడాలి అంతే.
మాట్లాడే దీని నుంచి వినిపించే స్టేట్ నుంచి ఇప్పుడు సడన్గా కనిపించే స్టేట్కి వస్తే హౌ డస్ ఇట్ ఫీల్?
I have always been camera shy, but radio is no longer only, you know, audio medium. There is also video thanks to Facebook and Instagram and all of that. So it takes me a lot of, it took me a lot of time and a lot of effort to get used to being seen, because I'm very camera shy. And I'm somebody, you know, who's very natural. I'm not the dressing up types. And so, but here I'm getting used to it, and it's nice, you know, as long as you get to communicate to people through whatever medium, it's fine, as long as people don't get scared looking at you the way you act. So it's fine, I guess. But I'm getting used to it with people like you around. Yeah.
That's so nice. Thank you. So what, like, you know, do you personally feel your freedom and the way, like, I know you pretty well, that you go around, do whatever you want to do. You do your shows, you do the stage shows, you are master of ceremony for so thing, and you go and meet people at odd hours and all. Yeah. So did you ever feel intimidated, and did you feel this gender bias in certain things in your workplace?
Not really. I've been very lucky. Gender bias, I've been very lucky, because in my field, work speaks. So,
and also maybe in your field, the female voice speaks more.
Yeah, a little bit maybe, but say for voiceovers and emceeing, yes, females do have a a little bit of an edge over men. But gender bias at workplace, not really. Odd hours, going, meeting people, I am always very cautious, and that is probably why my parents trusted me so much. There have been times when I had to go to celebrities' homes, to interview them at 9, 9:30, 8. I've never met them before. I don't know who's at their place. I can't ask them, is it safe? Can I come to your? I can't ask them, are you safe? Is it safe? You can't. So what you do is you take 1 or 2 interns with you. And of course, the vibe you give, I keep it formal. I always keep it formal. Unless I know them to a certain extent, I always call them ma'am and sir, so that it's formal. I just need your interview. After that, it's bye-bye time. As long as you draw those lines and you make sure that you're safe, I really, don't have any problem.
So what exactly does freedom mean to you, in the sense that you have come to a place where nobody is watching? Nobody is doing moral policing, because you're new. Nobody has any expectations out of you. So what exactly do you want to tell these girls who out there who are doing it and being intimidated by people? And sometimes most of the time peer pressure is what pushes them into doing things which they don't want to do. So what exactly you would like to tell them?
I usually, whenever I go to give speeches or I go to meet students, my own students, I tell them this, I come from a very conservative family, and people do get surprised when I tell them this is like super conservative family, sarkari family, geeky family. I have a father who just wanted me to study and a mother who just wanted me to get married.
Typical.
Yeah, and I turned out to be something else altogether. I don't think they still understand me, on so many levels. But for me, what does freedom mean is you should reach a position personally, professionally, both ways in life, wherein you can take charge of your life. You're in control of your life. You don't have to live in constant fear, that, oh my God, my mom is expecting this out of me, my dad is expecting this out of me, my husband, I'm supposed to do this, I'm supposed to do that. What do you want to do? That gets completely lost. Small decisions, from small decisions to big decisions. I was not allowed to travel, unless they would say yes. I was not allowed to go attend debate competitions unless I had an escort. So there should be a driver or my uncles or my cousins or somewhere. And to reach a point wherein I go across the globe now and my parents don't bother me, that's freedom. Right. If I wake up this morning and I think, I don't want to be a radio jockey anymore, I want to do something else, I don't want people stopping me. If I get up this morning and say, hey, I want to go to the Himalayas for next 1 week, and this comes from education, experience, financial independence, and self-discovery.
And the trust your parents have on you.
Of course. And they'll start trusting, okay, no matter where she goes, she's going to be safe, she's going to be healthy, and she's going to be happy. This is, this comes from within and from your surroundings. And it takes a lot of work. I think it's a journey in itself. Yeah. One has to make, a journey of self-discovery, if I may say so, sounding boring. But yeah, you need to discover yourself on different levels. You need to manage people, time, yourself, money, all of that well, and then comes freedom.
And when you start doing this RJing and all, there are so many topics you keep talking about. So which actually hits you? Like, I remember the time when Nirbhaya thing happened, when you had to talk to her mother or something like that, or when there is this Me Too movement happening and then you start interviewing those people who actually tell. Then what actually hits you closer to heart, and then what exactly goes through in your mind when you have to interview either side of people? You have to interview both the people, victim and even the perpetrator.
Most of the times for us radio jockeys, everything and everyone is content. We have to be objective about it. When I am doing an interview, I don't know what you're thinking right now, but you're thinking, what answer should I get out of that person? What should be my next question? What answer is coming? What am I going to keep? What am I going to edit? There's a process happening inside our mind. And there comes sometimes when you just cannot be objective.
Right, that's when it hits you.
It hits me very hard. Every year on Vijay Divas, I cry on air. When I was growing up, I was an NDTV junkie, I used to watch news a lot. And when Kargil war was happening, from morning till evening, I used to sit and watch the news. And Barkha Dutt used to go interview this one particular Fauji, who was Captain Vikram Batra. And everybody were taken aback, he was so charming and there is a war happening and he's still talking. And one fine morning, he wasn't there. And every Vijay Divas, when I speak about Vikram Batra, it feels personal and I choke.
As if you know him, because every day you've been seeing him.
That topic, a topic like that gets to me because it's personal. And I remember there's this emotional memory attached to it. And like you said, when I spoke to Nirbhaya's mother, I choked. I choked on air. When I'm talking to her and she's talking to me about, I don't care if I have to fight this battle for the next 10 years. I will fight. I will knock on every door. I'm going to do that. And this was way before the verdict came out. And I was so taken aback. And imagine this lady has, she has the knowledge of what happened to her daughter. It's not easy. We can't take cuts on our fingers. Things like that get to me. And there was this one interview, I had tears rolling down my eyes. She's an IRS officer and she's a breast cancer survivor, Ananda ma'am. And she was giving me so much positivity and she's talking about how she won this battle. She would finish chemotherapy and go do her dance practice. Right. When you have ladies, when you have men like that come into your studio and give that energy and that gets passed on to my listener, there are times when you just cannot be. I have had such moments with you. I remember during our chat show, you would talk about certain diseases and how it affects people, how women need to be careful. You can't be objective. Right.
When such things happen, it actually hits you, and your odd hours where you work morning 4 in the morning, getting up and then doing and all. So how do you maintain this health perspective, in the sense the sleep rhythm which goes off, and then what exactly is your discipline of your life and the health regime?
You are my Guruji. You are my Guruji. I have learned so much from you and I have seen it. Trust me, ladies like you, certain people, certain personalities, they inspire us endlessly. And the amount of success you have achieved in life, it just doesn't come like that. When I see you, how does she manage? It hits you. Time management is the key. You need to stay fit. And there's nothing bad in looking good. You want to look good. You want to feel good. You want to stay fit. You want to stay happy. You want to eat right. You want to have a nice, clean place. You need to clean your place up. You need to maintain a routine. It takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of discipline. I have said no to your parties. There have been times you was like, no, once I said, no, I have to sleep. I have to wake up at 5 in the morning and go. The sacrifices will be made, compromises will be made.
And I know you go to gym. You do it regularly.
Yeah. I have to work out. I have to eat right. I need a nice place. I need to meet people I love.
Yeah.
Everything is needed in life.
No, the reason I keep telling, there are people when I talk to them and they say, oh, kaun dekh raha main? Who will see me? I will get dressed the way I want. No, it's okay even if I put on weight. This is a concept which has to go. The reason you are doing it because you want to be healthy. You have to be healthy for yourself. You should get dressed because you have to look good for yourself. You have to love. You have to do gym because you have to do it. Ante kada. So like you are an RJ. Now it is all the technology which has put you guys this into it. But more of your voice training and all. Did you have a bad day suddenly when your voice is completely gone and you're supposed to interview?
I'll tell you something. The worst thing about my job, we can't take leaves. Right. We have to convince another RJ to do my show. Yes. Unless somebody else agrees to do my show, I cannot take off. So we have 30 days of, subscribed leaves, but we hardly take 10 days off a year. That's because nobody will do my show. And therefore, we never take sick leaves. When we take off, it is for traveling. Not many people know about this. We have 102 fever, we still go do our show. If we can get off our bed and go talk, we can talk. And there have been times when listeners say, Mansa, your voice is sounding so bad. We'll send you medicine. Don't come to work. Sleep.
I know, because you don't have to show your sickness there. You have to voice as someone. You have to get the energy from inside again to talk.
That happens now mechanically. You sit in front of the microphone. There is no way you'll be like, hi, good morning. No matter how sick you are, you're like, hi, good morning.
10 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock. Yeah. It's always.
I know that energy is something which reverberates and it goes on to the people who are listening. That's the whole reason why morning shows are such a huge hit, and especially people, they really don't know. I remember a time when I went to a party, very famous tasting, one of the wedding when I went, and the guy there, and then he said, oh, you do this show with Manasa. How does she look? I mean, it's like, you did a show with even Mansa and even Ayushi. Who is good looking between both of us? I'm like, guys, Please, you are listening to two girls talking in two different times and you listen to what they're saying. You don't have to know how they look. But that's the way it is. That's the universal thing. So did you ever come across anybody when you go and interview, anybody giving any slide, this thing, or any...
It happens. With me, not so much, but RJs do talk about it. With me, very little, but it has happened, but very little, minimal such experience, because I give a very geeky vibe out. The minute, and I don't feel it, you know, even if somebody is acting a little cute and fresh with me, I am so generously nice and fair to them, they forget, oh, okay.
Or do you think playing dumb also acts as if...
Yeah, I am playing dumb generally. I'm not acknowledging their vibe at all. I am in my own vibe. You know, I am being super nice to them. You can act your act, I will act my act. You know, this is what I give. I think every girl goes through this, not just RJs. Yeah, every girl.
Right, every girl goes through. That's the whole purpose that I want you to tell, because today's kids, today's generation wants to achieve something. They're full of life. And they really face these things. Some people know who are intelligent, how to deal with it. Going in, like you said, going in with crowd so that people cannot misbehave with you, or even behaving as if you're dumb or whatever. So you get away with it. There are people who shout, who really be vocal, and they're fine. There are these middle people who go into this guilt thing. They think it is their fault that somebody is giving a comment. What did I do? Did I do some mistake? That's why people are commenting. So what do you think?
I have had this conversation with you many times, and we always talk about how everything is a hustle. Yes. Everything is a hustle for everybody, for both the genders. It's a fight for both of us. That's a battle you need to win. Yes. You need to go in well equipped. What works in there? You need to think, you need to strategize. You cannot, wallow in self-pity. You cannot say, oh my God, this is happening to me. Is it bad? Is it good? No, you're not doing anything.
And you are not the culprit there. A victim should never think that they are the culprit.
You're not doing anything. Somebody is trying to do something to you. Therefore, you need to fight that situation and that person, and you need to judge and do it the right way at that point of time, is what I tell people. Guilt, shame, these emotions most of the times are wasted. If you ask me, you need to go forward in your life. You've done something wrong, acknowledge it, correct, apologize, don't repeat it and move on. If you keep feeling guilt all the time and saying, oh, ye mere saath ho raha hai, maine kuch galat kiya hai kya, should I do, not do, you'll be stuck there and you will never get out of it. Right. Never get out of it. Action is what is needed, you know.
So all these girls who are out there who want to come into this sort of profession where you have to be meeting a lot of people, I think they should gather up all these things and then understand and then be ready with what they are going to face and do it. But being in the radio, there are so many things which we have go. They are all intricate in the sense production happens, then you have to do editing like you said and all. So which part of it you love doing it? It's only the speaking part of it, or?
No, I started out, when I started RJing, I used to handle 3 profiles. When you start, it's like that only. You will just not become an RJ one day. You have to learn and people think you just go talk. There's so much more than that. Yeah. I was an RJ, a weekend RJ when I started. I had a weekend show and I was a producer. I used to produce the show for another RJ, meaning you assist them with everything. You get the content, you get the people, you coordinate, you do back end, everything. And I was also a music manager. And I like doing all these 3 things equally. Music management is everything you hear on radio, it's the music manager who's doing it. Right. And you always have to deal with music, so that's a lot of fun. And I don't do it anymore, but producing, I mostly do a lot of producing of my work myself. I find the content and everything. So that I don't miss, but I do miss music management a lot.
అంటే మేము ప్రయాణం చేస్తామంటే ఒక ప్లేస్ నుంచి ఇంకో చోటకి ప్రయాణం చేస్తే మా ప్రయాణాన్ని సునాయాసంగా జరిగి ఆ డిస్టెన్స్ని కూడా చాలా తక్కువగా అనిపించేది మాకు ఈ రేడియో వల్లనే. ఈ రేడియోలో మీరు మీరు పెట్టే ఈ మ్యూజిక్ వల్లనే మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ అవర్ థింగ్ లైక్ అంత దూరం ప్రయాణం చేశామా అని కూడా అనిపించకుండా ప్రశాంతంగా వెళ్ళి మా జాబ్స్ని మేము చేయగలుగుతాం. హాఫ్ ద టైం అనిపిస్తుంది ఏడుపు పాటలు పొద్దున్నే వింటే మేము వెళ్ళేసి అక్కడ ఏం ఉద్యోగం చేస్తామో తెలియదు కాబట్టి ద టైప్ ఆఫ్ సాంగ్స్ యూ ప్లే మేక్స్ ఇట్. సో హూ takes that call?
Oh, it's every company has a different way of dealing with it. So the current company that I am working, everything is centralized. So Bombay has a team and they have sub teams. So even before playing a song, there's a lot of meetings done. Should we play this song? What category? You know, there's mood mapping. Because it's a battle of music as well. Which channel plays better music? So you can't randomly play songs. So there's a strategy and there's a plan in place. And there are a lot of people involved. As an RJ, there might be a song that I love, but you know, I would love to play that, but our head office will not give us permission because they don't like that song and they don't think that will work with our target audience. They'll say, no, we're not playing that song, so we won't play that song. It's that, you know, intricate. So it's people think, oh, you know, every ho jata hai. No, it's not like that.
Evundi. I know. So many people actually think, oh, you talk so much, you can go and talk in radio, as if it is easy.
It's a myth. Radio jockeys are not allowed to talk for more than a minute and a half or 2 minutes. And we are allowed to talk only 4 times an hour. So there is not a lot of talking happening. You know, and if we talk more than a minute and a half, there are meetings, we are pulled up, Mansa, too much you're talking, there's not a little bit of Mansa, there's a lot of Mansa, you know, your links are very lengthy, please crisp, you know, less is more. So it's not about how much you talk, it's about how you talk and what you talk.
And saying this, there is only something what anybody can do. But and multitasking on the other side is something which today's generation is very much geared with, and they are doing it. I really am surprised the maturity level the generation has and thing. Social service is something which I am seeing and very proud of the young generation who is coming forward and doing. And చేసిన తర్వాత ఇందాక like the way you told Manasa, chala ba chestar, and that gives you a sense of gratification and it gives you the push to do more. So, ఇప్పుడు ఎన్ని ఫౌండేషన్స్ ఉన్నాయి, ఎన్నో చేస్తున్నారు అందరూ. కామ్గా చేసుకునే వాళ్ళు కొంతమంది ఉంటే, చేసుకుని చెప్పుకునే వాళ్ళు కొంతమంది ఉంటే, ఈ హీరోస్, అన్సంగ్ హీరోస్ని అందరినీ మనకు ముందుకు తెచ్చి వాళ్ళని అందరికీ పరిచయం చేసి ఎవరైనా హెల్ప్ చేయగలిగితే వాళ్ళ ద్వారా కూడా ఎక్కువ చేయడం, ఇవన్నీ కూడా బికాస్ మీరు ఫిజికల్గా యూ కెనాట్ డూ, బట్ దిస్ ఈస్ అ టైప్ ఆఫ్ సర్వీస్ విచ్ ఈస్ ఇంపార్టెంట్, విచ్ యూ డూ అ లాట్. ఐ నో హౌ కమిటెడ్ యూ ఆర్ ఇన్ గెటింగ్ దీస్ NGOs and getting the recognition they need and all that. So how did that happen, and was it actually starting, it was just like a job and where you got involved into it, or you did it because you wanted to do it?
It's a little of both. To be honest, my family has been very charitable growing up. I think it's in the blood, because at any given point of time, my family would always have 2 to 3 wards. Right. 2 to 3 students. I mean, even though there was a girl in the family, if they would see a student from a poor family who's a bright boy, a bright girl, they would bring her or him home, take care of their fee, food, accommodation. All they had to do was teach my brother, who was a poor student. They teach my brother. They would finish their college and leave my place. My grandpa used to have 4-5 people. My parents have had 2 to 3 people at once. So it is definitely in the blood. You know, when you see if you can help somebody, all you need to do is put them on air, you know, connect them to somebody. That's not too much of work. And it comes, and also it's great content, professionally speaking, because there is a person who's doing great work. When people listen to it, they get inspired. If they want to help that person, they'll help, or they want to get inspired by that person. You know, there is some giveaway, some takeaway happening here. And everybody needs to, they need to be heard, acknowledged when they're doing great. There is a boy who's a I think a pharmacist. He's studying pharmacy, and he goes every morning. He cooks himself. He takes the food to Gandhi Hospital, and he serves all the doctors and compounders who cannot, you know, attendants who cannot afford food, or even the patients who cannot afford food. This boy, he doesn't have to do it. I mean, for me, he's a real hero. Right. There is a lady who runs a supermarket. Not many people know about it, and I was so happy to promote her on my show. She runs a supermarket which is absolutely free for people below the poverty line. They can go pick up anything. Right. If somebody wants to donate, volunteer, you see, you're connecting people. And you can grow, you know, only when you do that. For me, I am in a position to do that. I don't think I can really financially help people a lot.
Right, that's what I said. Yeah. You know, people can do something, you know, so much. Itna jo bhi karna hai, I mean, jo bhi karna cha rahe, I mean, whoever wants to do whatever, utna kare to bhi, I think is zyada.
And I think this is also something I learned from you. A lot. Yeah, I have sent so many people to you, and I know how many people you promote, and I think I'm surrounded by people like that, and that helps, you know, when there is so much positivity around. And I want to tell people this: keep yourself around positivity through people, work, whatever. Life is a better place.
Any masala thing which happened with you in life?
Oh, masala kya batao? I'm a very good girl.